please put it in the chat to me directly or in the overall chat. And it looks like we will be starting off with you, Jeff, if that's okay with you.
Sure, no problem. Good morning, Coach. Thanks for doing this.
Don't really have a choice, Jeff.
I guess I'll start with what did you take away from your team's scrimmage a couple days ago, and should we read anything into Eric Curry getting some minutes with the projected starters?
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly, Brandon Johnson's been hurt, so I think that had a little bit to do with sliding Eric in there. He's getting back to normal now, but he missed a little bit of time due to injury. But Eric looked good. It's certainly, we're going to have to monitor his practice as much as we possibly can to be able to play in those games. But it's great to see him out there. He looked really good. Happy for him personally that he was able to get back on the court. I know it felt good for him. The scrimmage was important because we hadn't really been in the building. We haven't had refs. Normally we do that about 4 times before we play an actual game that means anything. Normally we have an exhibition game. We have a scrimmage. We don't have any of those things. So it was good to be able to be in this building. It was good to be able to play in front of no fans, so to speak, and to feel that. Like, you can't underestimate how weird that's going to be for everybody. Absolutely, it was beneficial. I'm happy we were able to do it. I don't love maroon gold scrimmages because you don't have a lot of subs, but this year it was very, very important to do that, and it was very beneficial.
Next, we will go over to Marcus Fuller.
Kind of disappointed that I didn't get to ask the starters question first, but Coach, just talk about, obviously a guy like Jamal Mashburn, maybe some of the other newcomers that won't start, but you'll count on them quite a bit. How important is it this first game and these early games to make sure that they get the reps they need to be ready for Big Ten play, which comes up pretty quickly here?
Well, I think you got to understand that, as a coach, when you're coaching in the middle of a pandemic, you have no idea what's in front of you. A guy could get the coronavirus to be out 21 days. We're not going to give you all the information because we don't think it's right to let you know if a kid is sick or not. Obviously it's not our place, but we have to be ready at all times for anybody to, hey, you're playing the 3 a lot. We may have to throw you to the 1. You're playing the 1. We have to throw you to the 2, 4, 5. The ability to be able to adapt when coaching through a pandemic is so important. So your guys, everybody on the team's got to be ready because you could be throwing a curveball very, very quickly. And so, every guy on the roster, we've trimmed the playbook and told everybody they need to know exactly what this play is at every position because we just don't know. It's an adventure every single day.
Next, we'll go over to you, Andy.
Hey, Richard, you kind of answered that question in the last answer, but how much have you trimmed? How much have you scaled back with what you need to do?
Yeah, a lot. We're trying to predict the unpredictable. We're assuming you'll see zones, because the other team's dealing with it too. We're not the only one dealing with it. So working on that a little bit, working on, playing maybe a little bit differently so that we can simplify this. Because again, like you play the game, people are going to expect you to win. Nobody cares who's eligible for practice, they're going to expect you to win. And, we want to provide that opportunity for the guys. So, constantly harping on an understanding of because normal years you may have a younger guy and say, hey, you're only going to play the 2. Don't worry about any other position. Well, we can't do that as much anymore. So definitely coaching a lot differently this year. Somebody asked me a question yesterday, pandemic aside, like there's no such thing as pandemic aside. Like this is a big deal. We want to provide an opportunity for our guys to be able to play. I know they want to play, but it's also very, very challenging, but everybody's dealing with it.
And I haven't received any other messages from anyone yet. Okay, we'll go over to Connor Stevens now. Connor.
Got to unmute myself first. Hey, Coach, thanks for doing this. More on Jamal Mashburn Jr. How has he been, and how has he been able to raise the level of competition at practice at the guard spot? Because it seems like he's got the type of skill set to play both.
Yeah, he's been good. He's competitive. He came in unbelievable shape physically. You could tell that through all the shutdown over the summertime, he never slowed down. And that's the key with freshmen, is just physically being ready to compete, because they're going to get stronger. They're going to get more physical as they get older. But whoever's bodies are ready to take that toll, are going to be able to contribute right away. And, certainly Jamal did that. So I'm excited about him. I do think he can play both positions. He can play the one and the two. But we have a lot of guys on the team that can play multiple positions. So that's a good problem to have. But I think his future is very, very bright. I think he's tough. He's competitive. He's cerebral, and he's talented.
And Jeff, we'll circle back to you now.
Coach, you had the pause for 5 days. I think it was about 2 weeks ago or so. Now that you're back, what's just kind of the teams, between yourself and the players, what's the overall level of anticipation just to get the first game out of the way tomorrow?
Well, I would just, caution everybody with, how much information is that you actually know, versus the truth. And I don't think anybody's trying to deceive anybody, but certainly we did pause. I'm not going to get into the amount of days. I can assure you it was not just 5 days. And it's really hard to take time off if you're a basketball coach, because guys are going to get out of shape. They're going to lose their rhythm. But again, we're not going to complain about it. We're not going to harp on it. It is what it is. Every program's going to have to deal with it. But you're going to have to hit reset a lot, unfortunately. And that's really challenging. But again, when you play sports in the middle of a pandemic, it's challenging. Everybody's dealing with challenges, everybody in the whole world. So we're not going to constantly talk about what we don't have or what we can't do. We're just going to try to make the best of the situation. And when you hit pause, you can feel it. You can tell in a basketball program, but we just got to keep moving day by day. And that's what we're doing.
Marcus Fuller, back to you.
Coach, the traveling aspect, obviously you have your whole non-conference season at home, and obviously you were playing in Connecticut at one point, Mississippi State, but how important was it to stay home and for college basketball in general in non-conference? There was a point where you didn't maybe think you might have non-conference games.
Well, if you stay home, you're going to bring somebody that's not from here. So it's still going to add, an element of uncertainty. Again, you have to live with the uncertainty of what's going on right now. But it beats the alternative, of not being able to play. I know that when our guys are with us, we can provide as safe an environment as we possibly can in our own pseudo bubble, but it's not a bubble. You have college students on campus. They're not able to shut down like we are. That's just the reality of it. But you know what? We're excited about tomorrow. But as I said before, this is such a day-to-day thing. And every opportunity that we get to work with these guys and coach and get better and push them to get better is a blessing.
Next, we'll go over to you, AJ. You ready?
Coach, you talked a lot about how you have an experienced team, but with it, an inexperience with all these newcomers. How important are these non-conference games getting ready for such a tough Big Ten schedule?
Well, that's what's hard, for any coach. You look at football, to have to dive in to conference right away is such a challenge. Well, for us, not having an exhibition game or maybe 2 exhibition games or a scrimmage or, a maroon gold open to the fan. It's just, it's not ideal for anybody, but everybody's dealing with it. So again, you just have to figure it out. We have older guys, but nobody's experienced a pandemic. Nobody's experienced playing in front of an empty arena, right? There's so many things that are really, really unique. But it's like anything else. You can't complain about it. You can't feel sorry for yourself. You just have to take the situation in front of you. Just keep moving. I constantly tell our guys, just whatever's thrown in front of us, we're just going to keep moving ahead and take advantage of the opportunity.
Next, we will go to Mike Grimm.
What can you tell us, Coach, about Green Bay? Bo Ryan's son is the head coach. Will it kind of be? I mean, will we see the swing offense? Is it kind of like playing Wisconsin?
We will, and certainly prepare as if we're playing a team that plays like that. It's always very, very challenging to play a team early, and then a team who has a new coach early. I'm sure that Coach Ryan is trying to figure out his team just like we're trying to figure out our team. But two very contrasting styles from the way Green Bay was trying to play last year, which was very, very fast. And, my assumption is that it'll be a little bit different. So, we got some film from, his old team as well as team from last year, but we'll anticipate that. But there's so many unknowns that we just don't know. So this time of year, we focus a lot on ourselves. We try not to give them too much information because it may be wrong right now. The more that we can just lock in on Gopher basketball, and we'll be able to maybe have to adjust a little bit, we'll do that.
And Connor, back to you.
And I mean, obviously winning or being able to play a game in 2020 is a win in its own right. But for Green Bay, Amari Davis is a big time player coming off a nice freshman season. He has a unique skill set. But this Green Bay team's fairly young. What are you going to be looking at after the game as indicators of success beyond just the final score?
Well, I think what you said is very, very true. Getting to play a game is a win in itself. There's so much that goes into it. I feel for our guys, they're up every morning at 8, 9 a.m. getting tested every single day. And for any of us who remember college, 8, 9 a.m. feels like it's about 2 in the morning. But they want to play, so to be able to get to it, if hopefully we play the game, just play the right way. There's so many things that we don't know, so can we be true to what it is that we're trying to do? Play hard, play smart, play together, play the right way. We constantly talking about that. But it's going to be an adjustment period. And, but I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to that.
And Andy, back to you again.
Given the fact that you guys haven't had exhibition games and so many new players, what's going to be key for communication, continuity, chemistry as you go into this first one?
It all changes tomorrow from the standpoint of minutes are going to be distributed. Not everybody's going to be played equally. Not everybody's going to play as much as someone else. And that's okay. This is a long race. Some guys may be ahead of others. That doesn't mean they can't help the team win. Tomorrow starts the noise. It's parents, it's family members, it's media, it's fans. The noise gets louder because the games are on TV or the stats or it all changes. And can you find a way to stay the course is so important. And there's going to be challenges. There's going to be injuries. The pandemic presents many challenges as well. So, be incredibly consistent every single day with your approach. Regardless of what's thrown at you is constantly been my message to these guys.
And then Marcus, you can take the last one before we transition over to the players.
Coach, how have you been preparing to play with no fans? And obviously, Thanksgiving's coming up here. What will you do with the players then, and then moving into your next game?
Well, playing in front of no fans is certainly a challenge, and I'm trying to remind them because I don't know if you can necessarily prepare for that. All of a sudden you're going to be in Williams Arena, and you're going to look over and there's Illinois that some people have picked to go to a Final Four, and there's no crowd, there's no band, there's no cheerleaders, there's nothing. Really hard to simulate that. That's going to be an adjustment period for everybody. But you know what? You got to constantly block all that out and just make the next right play. As for Thanksgiving, it kills me. Like, I'd love to have everybody over my house, but we have a governor that doesn't want you to do that, and so you're trying to obey all those different things. I have hated not being able to, bring my kids to practice so that my players can get to know them and be a part of that family thing. But I constantly remind myself, you're in the middle of a pandemic. So that's a challenge, especially around the holidays for everybody. Again, it's what our guys are dealing with everybody's dealing with in the world. And sacrifices are going to be made, but you hate it for these guys. They're not having a normal college experience. What I've constantly tried to tell them is basketball is maybe the only thing that we can make to as close as normal as we possibly can in your lives right now. So I know the athletic department's thinking about some things we can do for these guys on Thanksgiving, but we just got to get through it, man, day by day. There's nothing easy about it. You're sitting in a room right now with no pictures up. I mean, I wouldn't mind maybe a picture up or two of your family or something, but it stinks for all of us. But tomorrow is an opportunity. You got hopefully 27 opportunities to provide some bit of normalcy for these guys in a very abnormal world.
Awesome. All right, that'll be all for Coach Pitino for today. So thanks everyone, and thank you, Coach, for taking the time. We'll transition over to the players as soon as one of them are ready. Then you guys can just start DMing questions to me, starting now at any time, and we'll rattle them off here in a few.
Is this the deal this year? Go with that, man. As soon as I miss it, I'll take it.
So go ahead and sit down, and then we can adjust it if we need to.
Oh,
There we go.
Let's go a little bit. All right. Yep.
And you're off mute. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, do we have the height where we want it?
Yep. We good.
Awesome, fantastic. Hey, well, Andy, you can lead us off here and get us rolling if you're ready to go.
Eric, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Can you just walk us through what this last year has been for you and then the excitement level to get back on the court again?
This past year, I really focused on just losing weight, cutting my weight down. I talked to our former trainer and the coaching staff, and basically we came to a conclusion that that's probably why I was tearing all those ligaments and hurting myself as much, because I put on so much weight. So just trying to cut my weight down as much as possible and be as light as possible. Back to my freshman year, weight helped me out a lot, and basically just preparing my body for the season.
How much have you cut?
So far, cut like 10 pounds. Still going down though.
So what does that put you at now? Sorry.
I'm back to like 240. Yep.
Jeff, over to you.
Hey, Eric, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I'm just curious. A couple days ago, you guys had a scrimmage. I don't know how many days ago it was, but and you were able to get some run with guys that are going to be starting this year. Just what was that experience like to get back out on the court? In more of a game-like setting. Obviously, tomorrow's the real deal, but what was that experience like just coming off the injury?
It was very exciting to play in that type of scenario, game-like scenario. I was joking with some of the players and some of the coaches, like, I haven't played in Williams Arena since Gabe was a freshman, and now he's a junior. It's crazy. So, just getting that experience back and shooting on those goals and just being out there with my guys again and since a long time was very exciting and thrilling.
AJ, over to you.
Eric, it's going to be great to see you on the court again. What are you going to do as a leader now on this team? You got a lot of young guys, a lot of inexperienced guys. How are you going to be able to take your experience into your leadership role?
I feel like I've been a leader for the past 3 years. So just continuing to help the young guys out, even some of the new the returners, just keep helping them out. Just by fighting through adversity, little things that I know that I've seen throughout this league, just helping them out, because I know we're going to face tough times, especially dealing with COVID. Just keeping them heads on straight and heads positive, and we're going to be good. Nothing new.
Marcus, over to you.
Great to see you, Eric. Just talk about, obviously you've been there the last time at the in-state tournament. You were able to see the guys make it during your tenure. But, you're a senior. Who knows what's going to happen in the future with guys getting eligibility to be back. But, how important is it for you to take advantage of this season? We don't know what it's going to be like during the pandemic, but be as successful as possible in what could be your last year.
I really don't think about it too much. I'm trying to have a good season and just stay in the moment right now. But my goal is as far as the leader on this team is to help the guys out with their dreams. Like the people like Marcus and Gabe and all the other young guys that have NBA aspirations, just help them and be in their ear and tell them and just keep them positive and keep their dreams alive. And like I did Daniel too, basically just mentor these guys and stay in their ears.
Jeff, back over to you.
Eric, a lot of guys in your spot with as many big injuries as you've had might decide to just step away from the game altogether. And I remember at media day last year, you said no chance of that happening, and here you are. I mean, what made you decide to stick with it?
The motivation I got from all my peers, my mom, family, coaching staff, just seeing them keep their presence around me and keep them just telling me to motivate me and keep me positive throughout this whole thing. And I've never been a quitter in my life. Never seen nobody quit in my life. My mom is my biggest motivation, and she works hard and keeps her head down and keeps pushing. So I figured I'd do the same, follow her footsteps.
Does anyone else have any more questions for Marcus here? I mean, for Eric. I'm just looking in the chat. I haven't received any yet. Andy, we'll go back to you for one more at least for Eric.
When you have so many newcomers and you're playing your first game without exhibition, what's going to be key when you guys take the floor tomorrow?
Just staying together. I mean, it's gonna be a little weird tomorrow with nobody being there and the fans wise. So just getting ourselves energized without having to depend on crowds. I think that's gonna be the biggest thing. Just keeping each other motivated and keeping each other going and enthusiasm throughout the game. Just in keeping that up, and we'll be good.
And Marcus, back over to you.
You know, you got your first game, and then the holidays are coming. I'm sure family would want to come watch you guys play throughout the season, but we don't know if that's going to happen during the pandemic. How are you guys able as a team just to, keep it together in what seems like a bubble for you guys, not being able to see pretty much anybody?
Just building each other's chemistry and building each other bonding around us. We always hanging out with each other. Like coach been preaching it all fall. It's not we don't expect people to be there. We haven't expected nobody to be there. So we have to motivate ourselves, and we've been doing that through our practices and trying to give that feeling a little bit in practice. So we've been doing it all along. So just motivating each other.
And do we have any more for Eric? We might have time for one more if anyone has one, but if not, we can always move on. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Eric, thanks for taking the time. We'll move over to Marcus Carr. Just hang tight here for a few minutes until he's ready. Thanks, everyone. Awesome. All right. Thanks for joining us, Marcus. We'll get right into questions here again as soon as you guys are all ready. So just message in the chat or direct message me and we'll get going. Andy, start us off.
Marcus, good to see you. When you look at yourself within this team as a veteran and so many newcomers, what's going to be key for you as you try to lead this bunch?
Definitely, kind of like you said, just giving my veteran kind of, wisdom and knowledge as best as I can. Thankfully, I'm not the only one. I got Gabe, I got EC, Jarv as well. So definitely, as Brandon as well, been through the grind and and Liam as well. So, you know, I'm not the only one out there. So I feel like, you know, as much as we have some new younger guys, we still have some guys who have, you know, been through the grind as well, who can also, you know, help each other out.
Marcus, over to you.
Marcus, good to see you. Can you talk about just what it'll mean for this team to see Eric on the court? I know that, you know, obviously, you know, he was here before you, but he's been a leader ever since you've been here. You know, obviously the guys had a scrimmage on Saturday. How did he look, and what's it going to be like tomorrow for him, do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. You know, guys that have been here and kind of, you know, known his journey and known what he's been through and all he's overcome. Honestly, it's really inspiring just seeing him out there every day with us. And, you know, he's said it multiple times. He really just does it for us. And to see him continue to fight and push through and just want to be with us, be on the court with us and play with us is really huge. And honestly, he's a key part of the team, and he does a lot to help us win. So, you know, it's amazing being out there with EC, and, you know, can't wait to really be out there with him game time.
And Jeff, you can take the next one.
Marcus, good to see you. I'm just curious, given some of the adversities the football team has had to face with COVID and the whole pandemic, what's kind of the mindset of you guys as you head into your first game tomorrow in terms of not only staying safe off the court, but just get, you know, the anticipation of getting that first game out of the way and realizing that this season can happen if you guys do the right things?
Yeah, like you said, it's been a crazy time for everybody, but you know, coach is always kind of saying that, you know, we have more than one opponent, and, you know, COVID is one of them. So just kind of, you know, trying to attack that, like you said, stay as safe as we can off the court, make sure we're doing all the right things so that, you know, we can put ourselves in the best position to have the best season we can.
Does anyone else have a question for Marcus? Post in the chat or just speak up real quick. All right, Connor, we'll go over to you. Take it away.
Hey, Marcus, thanks for doing this. I wanted to ask about Jamal Mashburn Jr. and what he's brought to practice and pushing you as a player, because he's some competition, especially in practice when you guys are running back and forth, that you didn't necessarily have last year at the guard position. So what's his addition been like, and how has he been?
Jamal's been great. You know, he's come in with his head down, just ready to work. I love that he's a competitor. He competes every single day. So yeah, no, he definitely makes me better every day. And also he's kind of a guy who he's really a sponge. He loves to learn. So he's always asking me questions about, you know, what he can do better, or what he needs points on and everything like that. And I'm always glad to help. You know, he has a really bright future. And, you know, I can't wait to be on the court with him as well. I know he can definitely help us win, do a lot of things to impact the team. So definitely look forward to playing with J Mash.
And Andy, back to you.
Marcus, can you share a little bit about what your offseason was like in Toronto and what you worked on and how you tried to reshape your body a little bit?
Yeah, the offseason, you know, it was kind of weird, not the usual offseason, of course, but, you know, it was definitely good to, once I was able to, you know, find a gym space that was private and, you know, I could consistently work on my game every day. It was definitely good to, you know, kind of go through that grind and kind of work on, you know, like kind of like you said, work on my body, make sure that, you know, I'm able and ready to play all that I can and do what's best for the team. So no, it was definitely a fun time during the summer, just going through that process and trying to get better.
Next, we will go back to you, Marcus Fuller.
Marcus, talk about what it meant for you guys to see Daniel get drafted. And obviously he was the central part of the team last year. And what would it be like, you know, replacing him? Obviously you got some key players with Liam and Eric.
Yeah, that was a huge moment. We were kind of all watching it together. You know, a lot of us, you know, kind of wanted to be at the draft party with him. Originally we're supposed to be, but, you know, the shutdown kind of prevented all that. But, you know, just being able to share that moment with him from afar and kind of talk to him about it was amazing. You know, just we came in at the same time. So just seeing his growth over the past 2 years and all that he was able to do, and then him go through the process and then kind of, you know, have his dreams come true, have his name called was definitely amazing. So, you know, all the best to him. Super happy for him. Excited to see, you know, how his career goes. But as far as, you know, us going forward this year, obviously, you know, it's a big loss, but, you know, we got guys like Liam, Brandon, and Eric coming in that, you know, are able to, you know, do different things with what they bring to the table that will kind of help fill that void.
And we will close it out with one last one from Mike Grimm. Take it away, Mike.
Hey, Marcus, what kind of things do you guys have to do to maybe play in front of no fans from, maybe create your own energy kind of thing? And how used to, of that are you already, maybe from AAU experience or scrimmage experience?
Yeah, AAU was it was a pretty long time ago, but, we kind of just been working on that in practice, just making sure that, every day we're trying to give each other as much energy as we can. Just focusing on that's going to be a huge part, like you said. So, yeah, just focusing on bringing energy to each other every single day because, we're all we got out there. We won't have the barn to get us going, when we're in little droughts, little slumps, and we won't have the barn to, keep us going when we're on runs. So, we kind of have to just feed off each other, make sure that we're giving each other great energy at all times.
Awesome. We'll wrap it up with that. Marcus, thanks for taking the questions. Everyone else, thanks for your time. We don't have anyone else today, so thanks for hopping on. We'll share the recording of this here as soon as it comes through. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Marcus.